first thing in the morning, to be honest with you, I'm on the mission to find people, like when you're there, because I'll get dropped off at the school and then you're not thinking, oh, I've got to get to lesson, you're thinking, I'll go find my mates first, find them lot, and just generally just do what you want, really. I'd go into school sometimes and not turn up to lesson until like half an hour into it and not get nothing said to me. I'd just walk in there and just be like, hello.
But the first thing I actually notice when I walk into school is half of it's missing.
There's different groups in schools, man. You have like people who aren't really known in like one little bit doing their own.
All the loners.
You got your bad group, you got your good group.
And you have your rude boys at the top of the group, like that's like a food chain.
I reckon teachers have got too much authority at schools.
Yeah, they do think they've got loads of authority.
There's two sets of rules. They can like take it out on you all the time, but if you say anything back, that's it, you're going home, you're being excluded. And they're always on about, oh, you're young adults. It is. Well, when they start treating us like young adults, they will start acting like it. But so far, they're just giving us a load of crap all the time.
Two sets of rules are like our rules and their rules. We try to abide by our rules, they don't. We're meant to be doing it against their rules, really, though, aren't we?
You don't feel you've got anybody there who acts on your behalf?
Yeah, we can. There's loads of people we can go talk to at school.
Yeah, there's only one teacher that I was going to talk to.
Yeah.
That's Forrester.
I had been teaching an option extra group for English, and they were a notoriously difficult group, and yet they achieved very well in their English results. And I got the opportunity to move from my work in the sixth form to come out of that to come in to do some behavioural work. So I moved into this area, and then we looked at how we could develop it into a proper programme of support rather than just reporting procedures and watching people carefully, how we could work with them as well, I think. I think staff realise that we have some challenging students in school, but those challenging students sometimes come from very challenging situations, and they all bring their own baggage with them into school, as do teachers as well. So I think the staff recognise that this is a way where we can work more individually and have a significant input to try to help to counter all sorts of problems.
Well, basically it's from where a student continuously gets in trouble, and Miss Forrester notices this. She'll start like sending you to Miss Purser and that lot, and if you carry on being bad, then she sticks you on a blue report, which is like the last chance you've got left in the school, basically. So if you have one more fuck up, then that's it, you're out, no good. But if you continue to get a good report, then you'll get off report quicker and that lot, instead of just like hanging around and on it for like the rest of your school career. On a Thursday afternoon, third lesson just before lunch, we do go to some sort of programme where they bring someone from outside in the working world of work, and we have to like, Tom Borman sorts it out. The person comes in, we ask them 20 questions about their job, just so we find a bit more about work, so we're actually prepared for when we go out to work. And I think that's all it really does for us. It takes us out of a lesson and we learn a bit about what work's like.
The job involves asking anyone I meet whether they'd be up for spending some time with kids and helping them learn what they want to learn, and fixing that to happen.
If I'm going to see Miss Forrester and she's like, if I've got a good report and that, I'll think, yeah, wicked. Because I'll just go up there and she'll be like, well done. And then you get a report thing, like a certificate and that, and it goes up on her wall and everything. And just like, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how she did it, but I do behave a lot better now.
Successful teachers plan their work, which enables, or plan lessons, which enables kids to be successful. If kids feel they're being successful, they're not disruptive. Where kids are disruptive, it's usually in lessons where they are bored, and they're usually bored because they can't do. Get kids to do, they're not bored and they're not disruptive.
Mr. Waiting, I mean, he's supported me a lot through school.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
he's supported me ever since year 8. But
and the thing is, he never suspended me because he knew it was like a holiday to me, so he didn't give a shit. He wouldn't suspend me. I was like, you know,
internal, that's what I used to do.
yeah.
Aye.
Just sit in a room on your own all day. That's much worse.
Teachers do detentions. Teachers do detentions in different ways. It is a form of deterrent. It puts kids off. It makes kids think twice, maybe. There are various ways of looking at it. I mean, in my way, I look on it as an opportunity for kids to catch up. So I'll say, well, you can do an hour's detention, or you can come for half an hour and work your kneecaps off and actually do the work that you should have been doing today. And you can get around it that way. But there aren't many sanctions really available to teachers for kids who don't want to do other than plan really good lessons and get them switched on with what they're doing.
If you really, really need the toilet, yeah, you can't
go home.
No locks on the doors.
You go home.
There's no locks on doors. It ain't clean. And
There's
everything
keys
like
going about
the
and that
urinals
too.
all gets blocked up. Sinks is
Keys
all
get
rusty and mouldy.
Like, properly keys get robbed off teachers and that, like, to the school and that. This is one of the teachers.
Hello, I'm in such a bad mood because someone stole my keys.
Oh,
You see kids fiddling with doors.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what their money goes
How long
on.
have they been saying they're getting the water fountain?
Yeah, we were supposed to have a water fountain like that.
Since year 8.
They do not spend money on that school. They say they do. They get grants.
The only
and
thing
that.
I've seen them buy is the fitness gym.
Yeah. If you went to school, yeah, and in a lesson, would you expect to buy your own books, your own pens, your own everything? Like, okay, pens and that, fair play. You bring them in yourself, but like, buy your own books, your own textbooks, your own everything, like to do the work with you that they tell you to do in school.
The school's budget annually is about £3.5 million
A year.
every year. Varies a little bit, but not much.
What's the money mainly spent on?
Most of the money goes on wages, paying for teachers and paying for all the other people that work in the school, the support staff, caretakers, cleaners, site technicians, groundsmen.
What is spent on the school that can be used for learning?
Well, you could argue that teachers are the biggest resource, but in terms of hard cash that is given out for departments to spend, that varies as well, depending on how strapped we are for money. But it's about £70,000 a year on equipment like books, pens, paper, reprographics, things like that.
3 million and not, they haven't got enough money to buy a pencil. That is disgraceful, seriously.
In the course of a year, there will be many supply teachers. Some of our supply teachers only do supply work here. Sometimes they are ex-members of staff, for example, like Mr. Parry. And the usual or the big rush time is during the winter months when there is a considerable amount of illness. But then again, that varies as well.
I think the government needs to invest more money into schools. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, schools are running low in supplies. They're running low in teachers. You know what I mean? I think that does do a lot for your education if you've got the same teacher every time you've got a lesson. But once you've got a different teacher every lesson, it's hard to learn. Because some teachers that don't even have a clue about that lesson come in and try and teach you. You know what I mean? And that's just a load of bollocks, because you just sit and fuck around because you've got nothing else to do. You know what I mean?
I feel this is my school as much as it's your school. And I do care about this school an awful lot. And I feel it's a shame that perhaps we got it a little bit wrong with some kids who feel they can abuse it in the way that they do, and draw on the walls and vandalise things and drop litter. That's what I feel. And I wish I could come up with some sort of solution for everybody to actually tackle it. And I haven't got to that point yet.
You need to work out the organs first. How many protons are in there?
They shouldn't have GCSEs. Do you know, instead of doing GCSEs, yeah, at the end of your school career, do you know what they should do? And I don't know what they do in America, but I reckon, you know, at the end of every term, instead of like, at the end of every term just going on to move to the next term, why don't you have one GCSE on that topic at the end of every term? And then you blatantly remember it all because you've just done it. You don't have to go 4 years I think, oh, I done that in year 7. Oh yeah, I remember it all, because you do, don't you? After 4
Bullshit.
You
years.
sound so confident about that.
Do you remember stuff after 4 years?
No, don't remember what I did
Exactly,
yesterday.
I don't.
I can't remember
nothing,
what I've
mate.
done last week.
Exactly.
I can't remember what I done yesterday.
What happened a minute ago?
What was that?
I do like going to school to see my mates and that lot. And I know this sounds quite silly, but I do actually like mucking about in some lessons, because it's a laugh of watching the teacher get all stressy and that lot. But there's nothing really good about school. I feel all of it's shit.
We need to acknowledge that there will always be teachers who won't relate as well to some students as they do to others, and we need to take that on board. But equally, I think we need to understand that there will always be students who will take advantage of situations and perhaps even play their own agenda within classes.
My advice would be like, just doss around the lesson, don't get in too much trouble. If you don't want to work, then don't work. Just like keep quiet and that lot, because then that way you're going to get into trouble for not doing your work. But then you know, it's hard to say something like that though, because like we just do what we want to do. If someone don't want to work, they're just going to get themselves suspended, aren't they? So they get to go home and do what they like. I mean, like everyone tries to get through to you, but when you're bad, you're always bad.
There are many really excellent teachers in schools, and it's when they encourage kids through quiet words on the side, when they do it through encouraging kids to express themselves in front of groups and to, I think follow their own learning interests. What can be more encouraging than going into a learning situation where somebody says, well, what do you want to do to improve your learning? I think if you listen to people, that encourages them to feel good about themselves. Where you can't listen, it's difficult for everyone. And the problem with schooling is that there isn't really enough listening going on.
What would your advice be for teachers dealing with young people?
Speak to them. Just like get to know the kids and that. Talk to them before you like. Don't just go into lesson and go, hey, sort of, like get down to work. Don't speak silence in the classroom and all that. Just speak to them. Just like be there, mate. It's like what Mr. Johnson was saying in that interview. He said it's our school as well as yours. Well, I've never ever heard a teacher ever say that before. I've never ever heard a teacher say it's your school, because it's their school. That's how they see it. It's their school. They're the teachers. They're the ones that are there. We're just the people in it. If they was to think of it as your school, your own school, like your house and your school, I bet you'd have a lot more respect for it than you would if it's the teacher's school.
I think if students had their own opinion of what they want to happen to the school, done a vote or something, like each year they'll have like a certain amount of money to put a new feature up or do a new project or something, and then you vote on that, and then the kids are going to be like more, they're going to think more of the school. They're going to think, well, yeah, that's all right, we've done that, so we'll take care of it. And that, like, where you don't get a decision in what it says anyway, so people just piss about.
I've sat down so many times and just like tried to think, what am I going to do? It's just hard though. 10 years time, hopefully I'll be rich and loads of money and that. I was like, yeah.
10 years time. That's hard to say. I'll probably be living in Liverpool or something like that. Hopefully I've got like a nice car outside, like a Lotus Elise or something like that. Nice house, couple of kids, missus. I want to be able to like go out at weekends and that lot, and get drunk on a Friday night after work with all my workmates and stuff like that, even if I ain't got the money.
Do you think you have to work hard to get all those things?
Yeah.
Do you feel
you
ready
do.
to work hard?
Not really. I will do. Once I start working, I'll be alright.